The mic is live. Everybody's talking. The mic is live. The mic is live on us. It's always live. The mic is 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 live. There's just so much hypocrisy there. And the Republicans have to, if you really want the Democrats to work out, you have to come with open hands and open heart. The mic is live. 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 Let me say to you, wake up black man. Let me say to you, wake up people. The mic is live. 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 I've been waiting out there, man, for 3 years. The mic is live. 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 I'm the only people in the world. We are not allowed to talk to each other. Behind everyone else.
Sister, thank you for joining me. I'm glad you can hear me. We're gonna wait a couple more minutes. We got Stevie Wonder, Superstition is way in the background. Stevie gonna be bringing up our music in the back. And if it gets too loud, let me know as we go through today's podcast. It is now January the 20th of the new year, 2018. Man, never thought we'd make it here, to tell you the truth. I was telling people last week, we usually plan out our life moves in 5-year increments. And 5 years ago, looking back, man, oh man. But we thank the Creator that we're here. We thank our friends and family for being there for us and bringing us through. And, you know, things are looking good. Let me check my time here. We got about 7 more minutes before we hit the 2 o'clock mark. We like to start on time, none of that CP time, 2:01, 2:03. Hey Babs, how you doing, my sister? Thanks for joining me. Babs, faithful listener here every week, man. You know, when I get this thing going, we start making the t-shirts and little memorabilia. You know you down, Babs. You get it on GP, man. No doubt. Babs is always listening. She's posting out to friends and family, telling people to join us and support the cause, and we appreciate that. No doubt about it. The mic is live, ladies and gentlemen, and we are so glad that we have seen another Saturday. Volume is still low. Man, see, I'm using a new apparatus, and I don't know exactly what it is that's causing it to be funky. I don't know if it's Facebook, I don't know if it's the apparatus or what. But I think I'm going to abandon this one next week and try something different. Because I had trouble last week where my volume just totally dropped out. But I turned it up as much as I could. Yeah, I know you got me, Babs. We go way back. Back in the Brooklyn days. Crooklyn. We was there when they shot Malcolm and Martin. That's how far back we go. I remember we couldn't go outside that day. They was rioting on Gates Avenue. Took out all the stores. Okay, great. Yeah, they took out. You remember that day, Babs, right? I remember I was outside playing. I came inside, my sister and everybody was crying. And they said, they shot Dr. King. And the whole neighborhood erupted, man. If you wasn't black, it was time to get out of town, boy. They tore up them stores, man. Got a lot of free ice cream that day, too. But anyway, Listen, let me check my time. 4 more minutes to go. And we're going to start chopping it up. I thank you guys once again for joining me. The mic is live. A little platform we put together. We had a show in college called The Mic is Live. During the unrest of CUNY, when they were trying to raise the fees for CUNY, the students took over the schools. Your college was one of the York College was one of the schools that we held down. Students took it over, chained the gates, and I just got the idea. You know, people were sitting around, upset, tense. We didn't know if the police was going to come in on us any moment. So I was in charge of the TV station back then, and so I. Hey Kent, how you doing, brother? Thank you, my brother. That's right. I hear you. 20 years. That's a good increment, my brother. But yeah, we got a microphone and we went out, got the camera, went out to the cafeteria because that's where all the students and everybody were. And just to break the tension and the monotony, I started this thing called The Mic is Live and had people come up and talk on the mic and talk about the situation and strategies and what we should do next. And, you know, thank God nobody got hurt, and we finally, you know, got our demands met. And we gave the school back, but you know how we do. That old revolutionary spirit, we wasn't trying to head. But so I carried that over. After the takeover, after the protests, I carried it over for the remainder of my time in York College. And every week I brought a show called The Mic is Live. And so when all the stuff started happening in the news, with the we got 2 more minutes to go. That's why I'm just giving you a little background here. But you know, as things progress in the news, these recent years with the shootings and people upset and uptight, I figured let me revamp the show and come at you guys again, especially with social media being what it is. We don't have to go to the major networks anymore to have our voices be heard. So that's the basis of this show. It's basically coming at you raw and live, talking about topics of the day, and presenting you with a main thought for an idea, something that you can carry out through the week, and a seed of thought that you could build on. And of course, we encourage anybody that has anything relevant to the discussion to put it into the comments, and I know people can see it, and I will definitely read them out. And if it's possible, I know Facebook got a feature where you could actually bring people in on your chat, and I'm going to start experimenting with that as well, because I want to have people come in and give their opinions and talk live, and you know, whatever you got to say, because that's the whole premise of the show. The mic is live, and we want you to take advantage of the show. But as many of you who have been tuning in and know, I've said it before, and I'll keep saying it, because people need things repeated to them before they move. Sometimes, especially our folk, you gotta tell us stuff over and over again. But you know, we don't want to stay on this platform. You know, it's a little jankety, Facebook. We want to migrate to a better platform, and we got some things lined up. But what we need and what we continue to ask you guys to do is to please go to our YouTube channel when we rebroadcast it through the week, and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, so that we can go to the sponsors and show them that we have you guys in our corner, and that it's worth advertising on our station. We don't want donations. We don't want you sending your hard-earned money in. That's not the way we operate here. I know there are a lot of people out there that ask people for donations to keep their platform going. I don't have a problem with that. That's what they do. That's what they got to do. I just don't do it because I know how hard it is to make ends meet, especially in this economy. And I don't want people coming out their pocket. I always tell you, if you're going to come out your pocket, if you're going to support monetarily, go to YouTube, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, buy the album, buy the music, support it that way. Okay, you do that, Candace. But yeah, we're gonna keep this thing going, and we hope that you guys can help us out by hitting that like button. That's all we need. All we need is your finger. We don't want your money. We don't want your donation. We need your finger. We need you to go to that like button, hit the subscribe button, so that we can go to our sponsors and say, hey, look, we got the numbers. We up in the thousands. We up in the millions. Give us some money. You give us some money so that we can keep this thing going. Because we don't want anybody telling us how to do this, when to do it, and why we do it. We want to keep it raw. We want to keep it real. And we want to keep the information flowing and the discussion happening between us. And again, I thank you for joining me. It should be about that time. Yes, it is. The mic is officially live, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Leroy Adams. We got our brother Stevie Wonder bringing up the background with the music. And, oh man, I forgot to plug my mic, my speaker in. That's all that's about. But get that plugged in. And once again, we are ready to go. That's all that's about. But anyway, yeah, we're here, you're here, and the mic is live. Stevie Wonder's in the background with the music. And we have so much game to chop up right about now, today, ladies and gentlemen. So much is happening. So we're going to get kicking. We're going to get cracking. Starting off with, as we do each week, what's in the news. We got so much stuff happening in the news. Of course, everybody's looking at the TV. We should be now, and last time I checked when I got up this morning, it was 7 hours. So it should be somewhere about 14, 15 hours, maybe 20 hours into the government shutdown. Yeah, the great orange one, the great deal maker, couldn't make that deal. So the government is in shutdown. I understand that Nancy and Chuck went up to him in the 11th hour to try to get a deal made, and he presented some things to them that they did not want to be down with. So they lost the vote. They tried to vote on a budget to keep the government open, and I think it was like 50 to 49 or something like that. Anyway, they couldn't get the votes that they needed to make this thing a reality, so therefore the government is officially grinding to a halt. And maybe that's a good thing, maybe that's a bad thing. It all depends on how you look at it. I know some services are going to be affected, your national parks and things like that, things of that nature. People ain't going to get paid. A lot of paychecks aren't going to happen, So it's gonna affect everything. Last time the government shut down, they had to turn veterans away from some of the memorials, and that caused a stank, And it's just a shame that this man is able to hold the country hostage just because his racist agenda is put on hold. And I always say, you can't get upset at the bandit. Don't get mad at the crook. You gotta get mad at the person that's walking down the street with their wallet and their money hanging out, because they're not taking precautions against the crook. The crook is gonna be the crook. And that's the bottom line. This man has shown his colors. He's shown who he is. He's a racist, homophobic, xenophobic crook. He got on TV talking about crooked Hillary and all this stuff, and we see that he's doing nothing but fattening the fat cats of Wall Street and his cronies. And he got up there promising, believe me, folks, showing his white power symbol. Believe me, folks, believe me. Mexico is going to pay for the wall. Mexico basically told them, we not paying for no effing wall. Okay? That's true, Babs. A snake is a snake. I remember the Grand Master of my martial arts school used to tell us a story about the man that walked along the road, and he saw a snake on the ground, and the snake was cold. It looked cold and hungry, and the man had compassion for the snake, picked him up and put him in his pocket, and the snake bit him. And he looked at the snake. He said, "Yo, why'd you bite me? I was trying to keep you warm. I was gonna take you home and eat, so you can eat something." And the snake told him, "You know, I know that, but I'm a snake, and I got to, and biting you is in my nature, you know." So this man is only acting within his nature, and we've got to understand that, and we've got to deal from that premise, you know, that this man is going to be who he is. You know, he got up there and lied to everybody, talking about Mexico's going to build a wall, and now he's holding the country hostage so he can get the money to build the wall. And that wall is basically a smoke screen so that he can funnel millions and millions of dollars to his friends through contracts. All right, all his contracting and real estate friends are the ones that are going to benefit. It's not going to make America safe. It's not going to make America great. All right, all it's going to do is set up these accounts where these guys can go in, bid for these contracts, make millions of dollars, and then by the time he's out of the office, hopefully within another 2 years, these projects are going to fall by the wayside, and all his cronies will have made millions of dollars, like they're going to make with these tax cuts that he just put through. So, you know, this is where we are, ladies and gentlemen, and we, the people, have to make a stand and step up and make our voices known. You know, other than that, it's not going to happen. We're going to continue to get ripped off. We're going to continue to pay for their lifestyle while we're struggling and trying to feed ourselves and feed our children. You know, this is where we are with this government shutdown. And it's a shame that these men say perhaps he can build a wall, but that's not the way they're coming in. That's true. That's very true. And why is it that he's concentrating just on this wall? If you want to deal with illegal immigration, you should be dealing with it worldwide. You know, you saw the comment he made last week talking about Africa and Haiti and Central America, shithole countries. Yet he ain't got no problem with Nordic white men, Aryan white men coming in here and staying for years on student visas and work visas and getting in here illegally and staying for years without going back or coming through the right way, as he would put it. But I digress. You know, this is what it is. This is the state and the nature of the beast, and this is what we're dealing with. But it can only happen. Martin Luther King said, a man can only disrespect you if you allow him to disrespect you. And I have very little faith in the electoral system, but it's the only system we have right now, and until we demolish it, we've got to use it to get what we can and get what we need. That's true. We're all from someplace else. That's very true. Well, most of us are. You know, they like to tell that lie that you know, we came here only in slave ships. But if you know your history, if you study the history, we're the original people of this planet. And we was here in this continent long before the European decided to sail. You know, so you know, most of them are from someplace else. We've been here. We've been here. All right. I recommend that book. They Came Before Columbus, and it'll show how Africans were over here long before the slave trade. You know, how the American Indian crossed the land bridge and up in Alaska and came here long before Europeans were washing them behind and knew that they had to keep clean to keep disease from running rampant. All right. So the truth of the matter is, you know, they're the immigrants. You know, if you want to talk about illegal immigration, if you want to talk about preserving the American way, if you want to talk about kicking out those that don't belong here, all right, Miss Melania Trump, who's an illegal immigrant, let's see her birth certificate. In fact, let's see her immigration papers. You want to talk about Barack Obama not being American, let's see your wife's immigration papers. You know, but again, I digress. You know, so let's remember this time, ladies and gentlemen, when it's time to go to the polls, when it's time for these midterm elections, because that's been the main problem. You know, people haven't been showing up. for those midterm elections, and therefore the wrong people are in control of the country right now. So the midterm elections this year are very important. It looks like they're going to lose the majority in the House and in the Senate, and let's just see what the American people do, because we already know what they're going to do. I'm not sitting back here saying, well, let's see what they do. No, we already know what they're going to do. We already know what their agenda is. We already know that Make America Great Again is code word for Make America White Again. Let's kick out all the people we don't want and kill those that don't go our way. You know, basically that's all it's about. So we already know what they're going to do. What are you going to do? What are we the people going to do to stop them from what they're trying to do? Also in the news, speaking of Melania's immigration papers, did y'all see the story where she has this chick, man? I told you guys at the beginning of this whole fiasco that this administration is going to be the comedic gift that keeps on giving. This is comedy gold, yo. This is a great time to be a comedian because you'll never run out of material looking at this family. Melania has once again plagiarized Michelle Obama. You remember the big fiasco? That's right. Let's make America right again. Exactly. But you remember the fiasco at the convention where she plagiarized Michelle Obama's speech? Well, she did it again for Martin Luther King's birthday. You know, said the same thing Michelle Obama said word for word. You know, this woman has no skill. She has no class. You know, she's a soft porn star with no skill, no class. And everybody knows the only reason why she's with this man is because he's rich. Let's face it. Let's be for real. Do you think if this man wasn't as rich as he was, that any woman in their right mind would approach him? Let's just put it like that. You in the club, you chilling in the club, you dancing to some Stevie, and you look across the room, and you see a suave brother standing against the wall, and next to him, there's this orange dude with flaky skin, and something upside his head look like an alien attacking his head. Who you gonna go talk to? Let's be for real. Alright? So she has no skill. She has no business being in the White House. And everybody's propping her up. Yet she's plagiarizing everything Michelle Obama has ever done. While her husband is trying to kill everything Barack Obama has always done. So you see, that jealousy is real, you know. Okay, Candace, how you doing? Nice to have you back. Alright, that jealousy is real. You know, that jealousy is real. She looks like an onion. She reminds me of those. I don't know if y'all remember back in I think the 70s, there was a puppet show called the Thunderbirds. There was like a rescue squad of puppets. They be walking around. Thunderbirds are gold. She looks like the female Thunderbird to me, like a puppet. You know, she just stands there. She be waving all plastic like, you know. And it's just crazy how nobody wants to recognize. Can you imagine the firestorm if Michelle Obama had plagiarized Barbara Bush or somebody? You know, but they just sweep all this stuff under the rug like it never happened. Just last week, Michelle was in a bathing suit. She was on the beach, had on these shorts, you know, in a bathing top, you know, looked real good, I must say. I ain't trying to, you know, but she looked good. But, you know, they went crazy. You know, all these racial stuff they were talking about her and trying to put her down and stuff. Meanwhile, this woman's the first lady and she posed nude, kissing another woman. Like, what? And they call that art. Like, come on, man. It's just crazy, man. Nah, I wasn't alive back then. I saw the reruns. Anyway, but yeah, man. You know, it's just I just noticed the disparity and how, you know, Michelle wears a bathing suit. Everybody's up in arms. This woman poses naked with her little butt out and kissing on another woman, and even the so-called evangelicals are like how great she is. Meanwhile, she plagiarizes Michelle left and right. That's very true, Candace. I heard that story. There was a big expose that they were about to get a divorce because there was a guy in his building, actually. A guy that was renting office space in Trump Tower was having an affair with her. And they were about to divorce, but when he ran for president, he made her sign an agreement that she stay with him if he gets the White House, so that to prop him up and look good, you know. And now all the other women, the porn stars and all these other people coming out saying that he wasn't that good in bed. He paid them money to be quiet. You know, this man is total ego, man. You know, and this is why we're in the position. That's what it was. The vice president of Tiffany's. Okay, I knew it was somebody in his building. This dude was banging his wife, and they were about to get a divorce. And you know, Trump made her sign an agreement saying that, you know, if she don't stay with him, she don't get nothing. You know, it's all about the money. You know, like I said, you in a club, you know, you see a brother standing against the wall, looking suave. Next to him is the orange flaky man with a bad toupee. Who you gonna choose? All right, if he ain't got that kind of money. But again, I digress. Okay. Also in the news, be careful, ladies and gentlemen. Death toll is rising with the flu. California has seen their worst week yet. They had 32 people under the age of 65 die of influenza this week in California. That's in California alone. This thing has been sweeping the country. And I told you guys last week, I'm not down with those flu shots. I never took one in my life. The most I've ever had in my life is a bad cold. But be careful out there, okay? You know, because you know, it's always been a concern for young children and the elderly with this flu. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, sis. I hope you're okay now. But this strain seems to be getting worse. And this is why, one of the reasons why I have a problem with this flu shot. See, what the people don't understand is that the thing about germs are smart. They can evolve. All right. So when you take them out of the natural cycle of healing, they can evolve off of what you create. And these flu shots give them an arena in which they can evolve. So now we're looking at strains that are much stronger than they were years ago because of the vaccinations against them have made them stronger. That was the concern with those hand sanitizers that you can use them so much that the germs that you're killing learn how to evolve past the sanitation process and become stronger and stronger and stronger. And we're seeing that this is happening with these flu shots. Okay? It is a well-known fact, ladies and gentlemen, that and I said this before and I'll keep saying it, like I said, our people need things said to them over and over again. Your refrigerator is your first medicine cabinet. All right? It's the things that you're putting in your body that makes you susceptible to diseases like the flu, cancer, high blood pressure, hypertension, diabetes. You've got to watch what you're putting in your body, okay? You had 12 cases in Georgia. Yeah, I hear that this thing is going around and it's very, very bad, you know, but these are the things that are in our environment, you know. Our environment has both good and bad of everything. And our bodies, through years and years of evolution and adaptation, have learned to deal with these things. We have natural immunities in our bodies for certain things. All right? Let's see. You said if we go back to alkaline diet, it would fix this vaccine That's right. Vaccines are man-made. Very true. You know, and it's what we've been consuming these last couple of years. You know, all the sugar and salt-based products. You know, all that dairy stuff, that milk. That milk isn't meant for human consumption. Milk is mostly cow pus. All right, that's been pasteurized and filtered. You don't need to be drinking that stuff. I don't drink that stuff. I used to drink almond milk, but I don't drink almond milk anymore because, as I learned from Dr. Sabi, almonds are filled with arsenic. So I now drink coconut milk or I drink cashew milk. All right, there are many supplements. All the stuff that you're eating right now, there are other natural things that you can drink and eat, and you'll be just as full, even more full, because your body will have the nutrients that you need. The reason why you feel hungry and you need these big giant plates is because most of that stuff is sugar and salt. So when you eat it, you're not eating, your body isn't getting nutrients. So your body is starving and craving more and more and more, and you're putting all this substance that's not being absorbed. And when what's not absorbed by the body turns into fat. And that's why a lot of people have trouble losing weight and they yo-yo up and down because it's because of basically because of their diet. So like I say, your first medicine cabinet, the first way you have to ward off on all of these diseases and germs that are naturally in our environment is what you put in your body. Very true, Babs. Stop eating that meat, that red meat, you know, all that pork. Get off of that stuff. You know, watch the fish that you consume. Certain fish. Don't eat that tilapia. That's why tilapia is so cheap, because it's I call it doo-doo fish, because they feed it raw sewage. So you even gotta watch that. Watch the tilapia. You know, you really have to think about going more vegan, you know, more vegetables, more fruit, you know, more poultry, you know, and fish is good, but watch the fish that you're eating. Watch where it's coming from. That's right. That's true, very true. But there's other alternatives to that too. You know, that you can eat. There are natural ice creams out there. Eat the natural soy base that are made from actual crushed up fruit. So there's ways to do it. There's ways to supplement your intake and get the same satisfaction, but you get real nutrients. All right? So be careful out there. Dress warmly. That's the other thing. Keep your body temperature regulated. All right? Don't go from extreme heat to extreme cold, or extreme cold to extreme heat. All right, dress warmly, and dress the kids warmly, and keep yourself healthy. All right. Also in the news in Brooklyn, a 91-year-old lady died, and I'm sorry, it was in Far Rockaway. Her name was Ethel Davis. Her daughter, Marcia Davis, said that they were in the house, in the apartment. There was a fire in their building. They live in a fireproof building, and from what I understand from the story, there was an NYPD officer who came to the house, told them they had to leave the house. The lady was telling them over and over again, this is a fireproof apartment, and the fire department also backed up her claim that they were told never to leave the apartment during a fire unless instructed by the fire department. That the apartment is fireproof. If anything, you put rags under the door to keep the smoke from coming in. And she was telling the cop it's best that they stay in the apartment. You know, they'll be safer there. The cop didn't listen. She said, look, my mother's too heavy. I can't carry her. You can't carry her. It's best that we stay here. We'll be safer here. The cop basically cursed her out and told her no, picked up her mother. He couldn't take her too far. He dropped them off in the hallway. and the lady died of smoke inhalation. The daughter tried to stay with her as long as she could, but the smoke was too strong. She had to leave her, and she didn't see her again until they was wheeling her out dead. So there, of course, the commissioner is making excuses, saying that the cop sprung into action. He did what he thought was best, but that's not policy. That's not procedure. He didn't follow policy. He didn't follow procedure. They're trained that in a situation like that, they are not to evacuate unless they get the call from the fire department. And the fire department, the fire department told them that that's not procedure, that they didn't order an evacuation, that they tell people that unless you get an evacuation order, if there's a fire in a fireproof building, to hunker down, put wet rags under the doorway, and wait for the order from the fire department. But this cop disobeyed, and as a result, a 91-year-old woman lost her life. So a shout out and prayers to the Davis family, and we hope that they get justice in that case, which really there's nothing you can do to bring justice because they lost their mother, and that's a crying shame. A mother and a grandmother died because somebody who's supposed to be trained and didn't follow the procedure that they were trained to follow. Also in the news, did y'all hear Miss Omarosa? She was, in case y'all wonder who she is, she's that Negro bedwench that was traded during the last racial election trade deadline. We traded her for Bill Clinton. With the black delegation traded Omarosa for Bill Clinton. Yeah, Omarosa, she was fired from the White House, but before she left, she's lawyering up now because she might have damning evidence. They say that she might have taped some of the information that was going on in some of those meetings. She taped everything because that she would be caught up in the Robert Mueller investigation of the Orange Man. So they're saying that there might be some tapes out there of some of the meetings. So, also Omarosa, you lost your black card. We traded you. We don't want you back. But you know, if you do have those tapes, it might get you a little bit of favor. All right. You ain't the only one that laughed. We all laughed. But you know, but I will say, if you do have those tapes, girl, you better watch your back, because you know, in matters like that, people have been known to disappear. So if you have those tapes, Omarosa, watch yourself. You know, it's a good thing you get a lawyer. You know. Also in the news, another tragedy. We had two of our elders die, and they hadn't been seen. They hadn't been seen since Christmas. Neighbors were concerned. There was a flood or something in their apartment, and the fire department responded and found them decomposing. Two 69-year-old women. There was no to the bodies, and there was no forced entry into the apartment, and the cause of death has yet to be determined. But we want to send a shout out and prayers to those sisters. I understand they didn't have any family coming to check on them or anything like that. So make sure you check on your elders, you know, during these snowstorms. You know, call them, you know, check in with them, talk to them, find out what's going on with them, you know, because, you know, it's hard when you die alone. But when you die alone and nobody finds you for months and weeks at a time, that in itself is a tragedy and a crime against humanity. But that's it in the news, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna jump into our main topic, and then I'm gonna get out of here and let you go because I'm got to get to the gym this afternoon. But today I wanted to discuss something with you guys. I was, I was. Okay. Somebody had put a post up of a young lady dressed in these real tight jeans and halter top, and they said, "Could you believe it?" And the caption read, "I believe this is just a 12-year-old girl." And before I chimed, a brother wrote something about, well, if this was Africa, you know, she'd be ready to be married off, and going into this whole thing about, if this was Africa, she's old enough to be married, and and I had to come back on that and say, like, yo, this ain't Africa. This is America. This is low down, degenerate, illicit America. And when a 12-year-old girl, when a 40 or 50-year-old woman dresses in that manner, they're liable to be exploited sexually. Especially if they're that young and don't fully understand their sexual prowess and mature on their sexuality. And this brother kept coming back at me, trying to make excuses, and it got me thinking, and it prompted today's topic. About masking hate with heritage. All right, masking hate with heritage. It just kills me how so many people try to mask their psychological shortcomings behind their heritage. And we see this happening so much now in the news. We just came through this whole thing with these neo-Nazis marching in Charlottesville and marching across the country, talking about, and that's what I told them, Candace, you're basically being a perv, brother, and you trying to hide your perverted aversion to our young sisters behind Kush and the Nubian heritage, and I wasn't having that, and a lot of us fall into that thing, and not only black people, but as I was saying, we look at what's happening in the news, and we see how these white supremacists are coming at us, talking about if we take down the statues, it's all about, it's not about racism, it's about their heritage, the flags about, the rebel flags about their heritage. No, it's not. It's not. There's no heritage in that. When those statues went up, and that flag went up, it was clear as to why those southern states chose to put those statues in the locations that they did. The whole purpose was to create an atmosphere of fear and intimidation, and to let people know that white supremacy, they were symbols of white supremacy. All right? So, and we've got to stop falling into that thing of masking not only our hate, but all of our shortcomings behind our heritage. We all get into this thing where, like that brother, when we see something or we say something, and the first thing we want to say is, well, in Africa, our women walked around unmolested. They could walk around with their breasts out, and they were never molested, which is a total lie, first of all. All right, I don't care if you're in Africa. I don't care if you're in the mountain of the Caucasus regions. I don't care where you are on this planet. A man see a woman naked walking around him, it's going to arouse him. That's just the way we are. That's our natural state of being. Now, I do understand and believe that there are certain levels and degree of control and respect in certain societies. But like I said, this ain't Africa. All right? We've been out of Africa for over 250 years. All right, and some might even argue we are a totally different culture at this point. All right, yeah, I understand. That's true. That's very true. We are the heritage of the world, you know. But my point was, you know, it's been 250 years since we were taken from the continent. And a lot of us come from lineages that were never in the continent. Like I said, we've been on the continental of Americas, North and South America, years before the slave trade. All right, so not all of us are descended from Africans. All right, some of us are descendants from the natives that were right here. And yes, it's true that the cradle of civilization started in Africa, but that cradle has since unleashed children all across this globe with different values, different belief systems, different morals. Okay, so don't throw that at me in terms of, oh, in Africa we did this, that, and other. We're not in Africa. Like I said, we're in America. All right. We don't go around naked. Our women don't go around naked. All right. And there are a lot of Africans that don't go around naked. What about the Muslims? I don't know what happened to Stevie, but he'll be back in a minute. But what about the Muslims in Africa? All right, they don't let their young girls, 12-year-old girls, walk around in tight drawers and have their breasts hanging out. So kill that noise when you come at me like that. All right, and that goes for all of these cultures. All right, the Southern movement was 250 years ago. So all you guys walking around with these Confederate flags and talking about Robert E. Lee and all that stuff, they ain't got a damn thing to do with your heritage. All right? If you've been in this country, you was born in this country, you're not Irish. You're not French. It's okay to know that about yourself. It's important to know that we're descended from Africans. We're descended from the Olmec. We're descended from the Native American. That's important. Yeah, it's important. It's a part of our makeup. But this guy Leroy Adams was born in the United States of America. He grew up on 167th Street. He was born in Brooklyn, Bond Street, moved to Gates Avenue. All right? Yeah, he's traveled and saw some things. Have yet to go and see Africa and parts of Europe. But the being that I am, it's from here. And this is my culture. And that's the reality of it. And all this stuff of us trying to hide behind our nationality and hide our bullshit behind our culture, we got to stop that. We got to let that go. You know? Like these dudes, I was reading the other day, this dude, I wrote his name down, Trey Liddell. 34-year-old dude knocked this woman off the LIR because she bumped into him. I was reading another story about some dude walked into a Baskin Robbins or someplace and stole ice cream cartons, man, with a box cutter. Another dude held up a bodega for some candy or something. Come on, man. And what are we supposed to do? Well, back in Africa, them brothers would be applauded. Come on, man. Nah. They ain't got nothing to do with Africa. They ain't got nothing to do with the struggle. They ain't got nothing to do with the struggle against white supremacy. They ain't got nothing to do with the struggle against equality. So let's kill that noise. Alright? What do you say, Candace? When one knows themselves, there's no need to put your body on display. And that was my point. That's true. White is a crayon. They don't have no nationality, and that's the thing. They don't want to admit that we are the original man. If you really want to speak culture, you know, if you really want to speak culture, if you really want to speak to the culture of human culture, it all comes back to us anyway. So kill all that noise. Kill all that noise. There's a certain, and I spoke about this last week, there's a certain level of morality. There's a certain oath that everybody takes to humanity when you take your first breath. That first baby's cry of life is an oath to humanity. And you got these brothers out here stealing from, had another story last week. Dude walked up on this young woman and her baby. And the lady was letting the baby take the money out of the ATM. And this punk goes and snatched the money out of the baby's hand. You know. And all, come on, man. So what you gonna say? Well, back in Africa, you know, a big old bug-eyed, bug-lipped, buttered, biscuit-eating fool's gonna start talking that back in Africa stuff? Come on, man. It goes beyond that. It's about being a human being. You know, it's about being a human freaking being. And I'm not making no excuses. I'm not saying that there's not any unfair treatment out there. You see the way I ran down the story about Michelle and Melania. You know, we know how there's favoritism and there's treatment. You know, but you don't take that on a random stranger. You don't go punching on women. You know, he knocked that woman on the train tracks, man. She could have got ran over by a train. That's somebody's mother, somebody's wife, somebody's grandmother, yo. And what we gonna do now? We gonna talk about back in Africa? We gonna talk about the struggle? We gonna make excuses for these young men that are holding up ice cream parlors and bodegas? Come on, dude. Nah, I can't sign off on that. You know? And this perv was talking all this stuff, man. Oh, you too sensitive, brother. You damn right I'm sensitive. When somebody takes the heritage of Kush and the culture of our Nubian ancestry and try to use it to hide their perverted antisocial attitudes and behavior, you damn right I'm going to get sensitive about that. Because we've got too much at stake. We got too much to lose for you to sit up there. And this dude was older than me. Talking about your reality ain't my reality. You damn right it's not my reality. Because you come near any young woman I'm raising talking about, well, back in Africa, yeah, that's where you're going to be, back in Africa. Because I'm going to knock your ass back in Africa. And that's the truth of the matter. You know? So that's all I want to say on that, ladies and gentlemen. Let's be proud of who we are. Let's be proud of our heritage. Let's be proud of our ancestry. Let's believe in them and call on them, you know, the spirit of Ogun and all of our ancestors when we need them, you know, and thank the Creator for their sacrifice. But don't use it, all right, to mask our BS. When we wrong, you know. You know, and let's educate our children that, yeah, because of the climate, you know, and because of most of that tight-knit community that they dwelled in, the women did walk around like that. But that was a different time. It was a different era. You'd be hard-pressed to even go to Africa today to find people dressing like that. Most African cities are modern cities. They walk around in suits and ties, all right, dresses, you know, dress well and covering themselves up. So let's get off that kick, that back in Africa kick, or, well, I'm Irish, or I'm French, or I'm, you know, no, man. You're a freaking human being. And there's an oath that you have to humanity, you know. So kill all that noise, all you white supremacists out there talking about you're the original Aryan man and all that stuff. You come from us, man. Like Eddie Murphy said back in his song, I Was a King. All right, you come from mine. All right. This is the soup that gave birth to everything you are. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's about my time. Before I go, you know what we gotta do. We got a couple of birthday shout-outs. My friend Chico Ray, musician, had a birthday today. We want to say happy birthday to him. Miss Thomasina Hines also had a birthday today. Happy birthday to Thomasina. Our long-time Facebook friend Annie Brannon had a birthday today. Annie is a very strong, independent black woman. We want to say happy birthday to her. Robin Carter, beautiful sister, beautiful singer. Also a happy birthday to her. Happy birthday to my Aunt Esther on my father's side of the family. Happy birthday, Auntie. I hope you enjoy. These are birthdays that are coming up next week, but I won't be broadcasting till Saturday, so I want to give them a birthday shout out today. And Moniece Adams, my cousin, is having a birthday. We want to send a shout out to her. Her birthday is Friday. Happy birthday, cuz. Our unsung hero of the day, we want all you guys to get together, get the prayer line going, and send them up for our brother, our hero, the champion, the soccer champion, Pele, is our unsung hero today. Pele is 77 years old. I understand by way of BBC Sports that he collapsed from exhaustion. He was rushed to the hospital in Brazil. We want to send a shout out to him. Pele has been recognized as FIFA's player of the century from 1900s to the 2000s. Pele, he scored a record 1,281 goals in his 21-year career. He is arguably the greatest soccer player of all time. I remember Pele growing up. I can't remember not one story of scandal or any disrespect, anything coming from that brother. He's been a consummate leader and representation of Nubian manhood. And we want to send a shout out to him, prayers to him and his family, and we hope that he gets better. We want to send a shout out to our Facebook friend Sadell Houston. I told you guys before, but most of the news of the day that I bring to you, I often go to her page because she has a page called Afro-Nubian News. If you're not a part of that page, I suggest that you do because she keeps things up and current. She encourages people also to post things on the page as well. So we want to send a shout out to Sadell for doing that and keeping us up on things for us, about us, and by us. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm out of here. Once again, I ask that you guys be vigilant when I repost this through the week. Let people know that it's up. Go to the YouTube page, hit like, subscribe, and we sincerely thank you for joining us this week. Thank you for the input, ladies, and all you guys that tuned in. You know I love you. I'm going to see you back here next week at 2 o'clock as we always do. And as I always tell you, don't get caught up on the lies that they're telling you that you failed to prepare for the reality that is about to come. Because it's coming and it's about to get real. Peace out. You know I love you.
There's just so much hypocrisy there. And the Republicans have to, if you really want the Democrats to work out, you have to come with open hands and open heart.
Let me say to you, wake up, black